Hello Medicos. In this video we are going to study autosomal dominant disorders in detail. Now what are autosomal dominant disorders? Autosomal means that these disorders are related to our autosomes other than sex chromosomes, the chromosomes which are other than sex chromosome. And dominant means there should be one allele dominant to express that disorder. So this is the meaning of autosomal dominant disorders. Now autosomal dominant disorders will be expressed in both these conditions. As I have told, as the name depicts, dominant, there must be one allele dominant. In this situation there are both alleles dominant. In this situation there is one allele dominant, so there will be expression of that disorder. But in recessive condition there will be no disorder manifestation. So autosomal dominant disorders are expressed in these both conditions, and they are, as we know, they are inherited disorders. So one parent must be affected. One parent must have that allele, that mutant gene, so that there can be a disease in the children. So one parent must be affected. Consider this is male, this is male, and this is female. Now let's study A and this A. So if one parent is affected, there is 50% chances of children to get affected. The 50% of the children will have that disorder if only the one parent is affected. As their autosomes, they are present on autosomes, they are not influenced by sex, their transmission is not dependent on sex, whether it's male or female. This is a brief overview about the autosomal dominant disorders. Now we know that autosomal dominant disorders appear in children when the parents are affected, but there are some conditions in which the parents are not affected. Neither a parent is affected, but the children are having disorders. What happens in this? There is expression of some new mutations when these mutations appear. When there is gametogenesis of this egg and sperm, there is introduction of these new mutations which can lead to the disorders in the children. One are the hereditary, other one are the new mutations. And in inherited mutations there can be two possibilities. There can be incomplete penetrance and there can be variable expressivity. What is incomplete penetrance? Penetrance means that there is presence of disorder if the mutation is present, and incomplete means that there will be no expression or there will be incomplete expression of that disorder however the mutation is present on our gene. Like gene are mutated, but phenotypically those humans are normal. And in variable expressivity, what happens? In variable expressivity, the disorder appear differently in different people. Like there is some mutant gene, but the phenotype is different in different peoples. Here the example is neurofibromatosis type 1. What is this disease? In this disease, this is a genetic disease which can cause the tumors to grow along the nerves. Now, this has variable expressivity. Like in some people, there can be expression of the brownish spots on the skin. In other, there can be skin tremors, and in further other peoples, there can be skeletal deformities. So it has variable expressivity. However, incomplete penetrance means they are phenotypically normal. Now we are going to study autosomal dominant disorders. In autosomal dominant disorders, there can be two possibilities. Like there can be complete loss of function of that protein, or there can be gain of function. This is less common, this is more common. Now what happens in loss of function? Like if we are having some autosomal dominant disorder, there can be production of dysfunctional or inactivated proteins which can lead to the loss of function. And when happens this? If the gene product is less than 50, If the gene product is less than 50, then the symptoms will appear. If the gene product is greater than 50, then those enzymes, their activity will be enhanced. They will function more to compensate the loss, so there will be no expressivity of that disorder. But if gene product is less than 50, then the symptoms will, sign and symptom will appear. Second thing is gain of function. Gain of function, this is less common. It is always autosomal dominant. Like this is the characteristic of autosomal dominant disorders. In autosomal dominant disorder and some autosomal dominant disorders, there can be gain of function. Like there will be the proteins which can be overactive, or there can be some other proteins, like from other proteins from the original one, which has new activity, that is the enhanced one activity. So this is the gain of function. These can be the two consequences of autosomal dominant disorders. Now we're going to study these two things. There is first of all regulation of some complex metabolic pathway that are subject to feedback inhibition. We know in our body there are multiple feedback systems playing role. Now consider an example. If I am having high cholesterol level, then this cholesterol will give a feedback to my LDL receptors. My LDL receptors will be enhanced, and their activity will be enhanced, and their number will be enhanced. There can be lot of transcription and translation of LDL receptors, so that I can get rid of the cholesterol. But in some people, there is LDL receptor abnormality. If the LDL abnormality led to 50% loss of LDL receptors, then the raised cholesterol will have no feedback control on these LDL receptors, and there can be the premature atherosclerosis in those people, in those patients. As like collagen. Second thing is key structural protein, like collagen. In collagen, there are multiple alleles that are in collagen formation. There are multiple alleles that are going to express that multimeric collagen product. So there is allele 1, allele 2, and allele 3. If allele 1 is normal, allele 2 is normal, allele 3 is normal, there can be normal collagen 3, normal collagen. Collagen is basically a trimer consisting of 3 chains. All the chains will be normal, and there will be proper assembly and safety of these chains. But if only one allele is mutant here, like you can say this allele is mutant, these are normal, what happens? There can be one collagen chain that will be abnormal. Now this will interfere with the proper assembly and safety of that collagen molecule. So there will be a condition known as osteogenesis imperfecta, in which there is collagen deficiency due to only mutation in one allele, because one allele was all the 3 alleles were equally important in formation of a trimeric collagen molecule. If there is only one gene mutation, there can be the osteogenesis imperfecta, and there can be collagen deficiency. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.